Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining our Enlightenment Through Meditation class every Saturday, 6 o'clock. First of all, as always, I am very thankful to all of you for joining me tonight. I am thankful to all of the people who take the time to come in and join and be in the company of the path which goes within. It is within, and it is the path of truth. The more we follow, the more we realize. And to realize the path of truth, we need to settle down our minds. And the minds are never easy to settle down. There is always a battle because mind wants something else, heart wants something else. So taking the time to join this session is very precious in its own ways, because as we have worldly accounts, the same way we have accounts of beyond, where we put our truthful, virtuous deeds in that account. And that account works only when mind settles down, because then we bring out the treasures that we have been talking in for a very long time, which are, if we do kind deeds, they don't go into the worldly account, they go into the beyond account. Or we love someone, or we provide happiness to someone, or we give peace to someone. They are all the actions leading to a result in an abstract way, and it all ends up somewhere. But that somewhere is not visible with these eyes, cannot be seen, cannot be used by the mind. But any action always has a reaction. So even when we do these kind deeds or good deeds or so-called virtuous deeds, they are ending up somewhere. So that means sooner or later we will know where they are going and will reap the benefits of those, just not with the physical body. Because kindness is not a thing that we can give. Kindness is an act. It's abstract. So the result is abstract. And likewise, so whenever we settle down the mind and sit in peace, try to go within to find that truth, it is very, very, very peaceful to us and very comforting to our heart, not to the mind. Again, because mind starts looking at the clock very quickly, when the session is going to end. So with that, we are today going to talk about, obviously we are still understanding self-awareness, which is a topic which has no limit. But at the same time, we will cover how do we trust ourselves when we are following this path of truth within ourselves and increasing our awareness. How do we trust? How do we know that we are really doing good? And at the same time, because we still have a mind, we have not gotten to a point where we have realized everything. How do we doubt ourselves? Why do we doubt ourselves? How much do we doubt ourselves? And who will pull us out of this doubt? Would it be us? Would it be somebody else? Would we be looking? Would we lose our trust with that doubt? Or what would happen? Because doubt is something that will come. Moment by moment, life is changing. So if that happens and the things don't work out the way we think, because we are still governed by the mind, we will doubt, right? So doubting ourselves, and this puzzle keeps going on, trusting and doubting. And then how to resolve this problem? Who is going to be the winner? Would it be the heart or would it be the mind? And would we be moving on? I think in short, 20-25 minutes, we will try to cover this part. So stay with me. Trusting ourselves. First of all, when we decide after a lot of thought process, lot of commotion within us, that there is something we are looking for, that's important. If we don't decide, if we don't think that we are looking for something, this path may not be attractive to us, because from the very get-go, this is not a worldly path. It is not something that you can see or do things like those. You act something and the result comes like, in a very worldly way. It's not that. It's listening within ourselves. So how do we know? How do we decide that we can trust ourselves we are doing the good thing? Very, very critical, very, very key part of it, and takes time even to build trust within us. Because over and over I have repeated that this is self-awareness. Sometimes when we are in a group and we are discussing, you will realize we very quickly say, I don't trust this person, I don't trust this person, and we always justify to ourselves that we are good. We take it for granted. But when we start looking into us, ourselves, we find that majority of the time we don't really trust ourselves. We don't know. We don't have faith within us that this move that we are making is a good move. So what is needed? How do we know that we are making a good move and it will pay us sooner or later, here or hereafter? We don't know. So for that, trust comes when we know that we are taking the time to think through of a situation. When we think of our situation, then we know that this is going to be good, this is not going to be good. Are we going to make a selfish move? Are we going to make a move that is going to go for someone else? Or however it's gonna happen, we need to take the time to go within us. Because as soon as we start going in within ourselves, we realize that this is the right or this is the wrong move. We know, because every time when there is truth within us, it is only a matter of time that we get to know that. As soon as we know, we will realize within ourselves that this is a move that is coming from our heart, or really it is dictated by the mind. And I think that is the struggle we all go through. Is it coming from the mind or is it coming from the heart? And how do we know? When it comes from the mind, there is always going to be some selfish interest hidden in it. That's how it works. Because mind always says, is it working for me? Why am I doing? What is my benefit? It's a my benefit driven, selfish interest. Whereas when the heart comes, it's all giving. Giving in surrenderance. And when it is giving, it takes the pain. Because the mind doesn't like, but heart like, and heart knows that love's name is sacrifice, so it's gonna give. When it gives, there is certain level of pain, but the pleasure comes double when we make someone happy, or we do some act that is beneficial to the other, just opposite to the self. So that means when we start doing that exercise and know, are we doing something in benefit of someone? Could it be a plant, nature, universe, anything, when the act is giving and not receiving for the selfish motives? Sometimes we need to receive, not in ego. We cannot always say, I don't take something, because that becomes more egotistical statement. I don't want to receive because that makes me inferior. But if we have gone down too low, There is no statement like that, right? So from that, we develop trust in our judgment. Not each act, but we decide that this path is for us. This path requires us to do this analysis. Is it for selfish or is it for someone else? And once we have done that and decided we are on the right track, we start trusting ourselves. So little by little, this trust grows. First day the trust is this much, next day it is this much. The more analysis come, the more experience come, the more examples come, our trust begins. So the second is doubting ourselves. Yeah, when we are walking on this path, obviously there are going to be many doubts. Because realize, number one, we are social animal. We are surrounded by lots of people. And if our company is not of those who are following the same path, and we are doing actions in giving or happiness or something, giving out, whereas the whole world is running in its normal course. That means receiving is good, worldly things are good, this is good. We start to stick out a little bit because there are opinions coming to us, asked or without asking. I'm sure we all have experience. We are sharing something and someone would give us 10 opinions already, asked or not asked. So when that happens, we are doing something in all goodness, following the path, and someone sees us that you don't have anything, for example, and you are already giving what you have, what you're gonna do tomorrow. And we think right away, yeah, this person is good because we still carry the mind. Then we will start to doubt ourselves and our faith goes down. And the path of spirituality or the path of self-awareness is such that it goes by 100% belief. You believe in divine. You believe. Why do you believe? You don't see it, but why you believe? You believe because I am, for example, talking because of that conscious entity within me. Although I cannot see that conscious entity, but the manifestation of that conscious entity is because I can move the hands, I can talk, I can smile, I can wear, whatever I want to do, I can do because of that existence. So if I believe in that existence, is it too much to ask for? I should be believing in the first place. Because without that belief, there is no existence. And if I have no existence, it doesn't work anyways, right? So therefore, when we start looking and getting all these impressions from outside, then we realize where we are and why should we be doubting. If we are doubting, why are we doubting? That means we go back to step backward and see the path we have decided to follow. Is it a right path? Is it not a right path? And at the same time, when we doubt ourselves, we get in the company of those who have realized or who have gotten this faith within them. They have realized and felt this consciousness, because then their auras are full of that maturity, full of that satisfaction of being within themselves, that they will spread that to us. They will show us, they will tell us that it's okay. Because realize this is the path of self-awareness, which takes really to beyond. And beyond has those treasures that cannot be found in this world. So getting to those treasures, if we thought our path is gonna be very easy, then we are mistaken, because it's not. Every moment we will be tested for our own truthfulness, for our own satisfaction and our own belief. Do we really believe in what we are doing, or we are doing to test the system under the influence of mind? We will be tested. The doubts will be created within us. We will create our own doubts just to check, because we have not left the mind yet, or mind hasn't left yet. And To realize self-awareness to its highest point, the mind has to completely quiet down. That means my mind has to die to a zero, complete. Then the divine is 100. If mind is active 1, divine is 99, it's not 100, we cannot realize it. We cannot visualize it. We cannot have 100% faith in it. That's how the law goes. There is nothing me and you can do. The law is strict. It defines, it tells itself. So sometimes in our lives, when our faith within ourselves becomes lower or down, we are surrounded by the doubts. And then definitely it becomes a puzzle. And very strong puzzle. Because sometimes we go back and we say, oh my God, we have been spending 5 years doing this. Maybe I was wrong. And then 5 years is a long time and we start calculating the losses. But we forget that what we have done, as I mentioned earlier, there is a divine account, that account may be so full now that it is going to start to come back and is going to start to give us results in its own ways, in its own due course, in its own best possible way for us that we cannot know. Because the parents or mother or father know for the child when it is good to give whatever they give. Even child wants at something which may be very positive, at a certain wrong age, the parents won't give. They will hold it. They will say when he is or she is ready, we will give it to that boy or girl. They have it. It's in their possession. They don't need to go anywhere. But they are not willing to give. The child may cry, they will still not give. But when the child grows, it was in its own house, in its own place, and was ready to be delivered. So same way we need to know within ourselves, yes, we are on the right path. We are making these choices knowingly. Nobody is pushing us to these choices. We have selected to go on this path because we like this path, because we believe in divine law, in divine wisdom, and our path is to go to those treasures that cannot be seen here. So how to resolve? We do this analysis and we find ourselves. Now you may ask a question when we do the analysis, are we not using the mind? Of course. Mind has been given to us to use it. We should use it. But mind has not been given to dictate us. When it becomes dictatorial and says do this and don't do this and kills the little inner voice, then mind is not working in our favor. But when we utilize the mind and say this is what we think, this is how we are doing, is this a good way to go and how to evaluate all that, that's what mind's purpose is. So just like if we get a horse, we need to use the horse. What is the point of keeping a horse and not use it? It's ridiculous. But a horse shouldn't be telling us where to go, right? That doesn't make sense, because then we wouldn't know as a rider where the horse is taking. And horse is after all a horse. We are asking for our complete annihilation. So the same thing happens. We need to utilize and see and check within ourselves which way we are heading. So that is one way. And then who is the winner? Because from very get-go, from the very beginning, from our childhood, we always hear, we always see, we are always told, if you do this, I will give you this. So our minds are so trained that if we do these virtuous deeds, we should get something in return. We just feel like this is our right to do. But divine doesn't work like that. It says you do it because you want to do it. If you are doing it to get a result from it, then you are not following the divine path. Then you are following a selfish path. You have a reason, you want to get something out of it, and therefore you are doing it. It's not coming from your heart. You get negative score. Or we get negative score. But that is how it goes. So to find out this puzzle being on, how to resolve, who is the winner, we always have to go again within ourselves and see if we are not winning by doing or by following this path, then who is not winning? Is it our mind that is not winning, or is it our heart not winning? Sometimes we all have experienced what a pleasure we feel by doing something really, really nice, even by sacrificing something. We know all that. We all have little experience, big experience, but we haven't given it enough time to think about it in our lives. And when we start looking into it, we feel that our heart always turns out to be the winner. Whenever we are dictated by the mind and we do an act, later on it's very difficult. We can justify it, but if we have not really enjoyed it from the heart, it will come and haunt us in some shape and form, and we all know it, or we can all try it and we will realize how this works. So the bottom line is, who is the winner? If at heart, before we go into all these doubts and trust, and we know that our heart is winning, then that's a good thing. That is a real good way to test ourselves, to check ourselves, and make sure we are moving in that direction, because we have to move on. Even if we stop this path, not follow the truth, not go into self-awareness, we will keep on moving. And I think in last some of the sessions, I was mentioning this self-awareness, something that grows every day, every moment. And sometimes the graph is going up and then it goes down. And then it goes up and then it really goes down. And then it stays there for a long time and then it comes back up again. And that's why it's a battle. So that will happen. But what will happen? What is the main thing? That we keep going back inside us and doing this evaluation. Are we making our mind satisfied, or are we making our heart satisfied? And in our case, what is more important? Is it the heart? Is it the divine? Is it the soul self that we give priority to? Or do we give priority to the mind and the body? Between the two, we need to make that evaluation moment by moment. And as we had mentioned earlier, because it is the path of truth, the more we are company within ourselves with this truth that lies within us, the more we stay in touch with it, the more we become truth. And truth is the name of the game, because within us we know where we stand. All of us know where we stand. And the doubts that come, they shake our belief. When we don't trust ourselves, we shake our belief, and then we divert. We divert from the truth. And diversion is very easy, and then we spend a long time. We come back. We sometimes turn back and we see how did we do. And we realize that by moving from the path of truth, it's not that we suddenly started doing a lot better. But it is something that always needs to be checked. This is something always remembered, that what we are following and what we are following is not something immediate return. We are not looking for those, because we have chosen the path of love. And the path of love is sacrifice. And if it is sacrifice, means you give and don't worry about it. Just like when you look around, divine is all around us. Nature is all around us. You cut the leaf, the tree doesn't say anything. You look at the earth, you do so many things to it, it doesn't say anything. You know, by just looking into the divine, which is all around us, air is freely given to us. Air has never come and said to us, hey, without me you couldn't be surviving. Giving. Nature is all giving. So when we start absorbing those qualities within us, working on it, processing it, and then we start giving it out, obviously we are becoming divine. And when the divine is so big, in the company of divine, we automatically become big. The drop from the ocean, it starts from the ocean, evaporates, rain comes, becomes a drop, comes back and merges back into the ocean and becomes ocean again right away. It drop doesn't have to say anything. So in the heart, as we know that we are a drop from there and we are following that divine law that is all around us, we become divine. And that's how we try to win between our doubts and trust. And ultimately, it is the trust that takes us to our next step, to our next step, and next step until we become one with divine. So I hope this session was useful for all of you, some of you, but always remember, if there are any concerns, any questions, any suggestions, please don't hesitate to write to us on Ustream, or you can write on YouTube, or you can write on our website. That's www.drkors.com. Please visit us and leave your comments. We look forward for those. If you would like to watch these videos on YouTube, it's youtube.com/drkors. You can visit us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/drkors. We are on Twitter. Please make sure you spread the word for the path of truth, because this is an account. You are winning. Whoever you connect to, you are winning again. That's becoming bigger. And sooner or later, as we spread the word of love and word of happiness and kindness, we all get those vibes from each other. Because remember, happiness is not too far. I love you all and I thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks again. I will see you next week. Have a great evening.